Nobody has ever seen their own eyes move. Not you, not me, not one person in the entire history of our species. And the strange part is that you can prove it on yourself right now in about 10 seconds with a mirror or just your phone camera. Look at your left eye, then your right eye, then back again, left, right, as many times as you like, and you will never once catch the movement happening, no matter how closely you watch. Your eyes moved, you were staring straight at them, and you saw nothing because your brain hid it from you deliberately, and that is the smallest of the things it's hiding. The movement has a name. It's called a saccade, and it is one of the fastest things your body can do, snapping across at up to 600 degrees a second, faster than you can blink and far too fast to follow. You make 2 or 3 of them every second that you're awake, which comes to hundreds of thousands of them a day, and you have consciously seen exactly none. Here's why. Every time your eyes jump, your brain switches your vision off, not dims it, off, and then the instant your eyes land, it takes the new image and stretches it backwards over the gap it just made, so the film you're watching never shows you the cut. Add all of those little blackouts together, and you spend roughly half an hour of every single day completely blind, and you have never once noticed it happening. That's the first thing your brain is hiding from you. It is not the biggest. Now let's take something away from you. There's a cross on the left of your screen and a dot on the right. Close your left eye. Actually, close it. This does not work with both eyes open. And with your right eye, look straight at the cross. Keep looking at the cross. Don't cheat. And slowly bring your face in toward the screen. Somewhere along the way, the dot is going to disappear. Not blur, not fade, vanish, and the background will run straight through the space where it used to be, as if there had never been anything there at all. At the back of each of your eyes, there's a spot where the nerve leaves for the brain. And in that spot, there are no light detectors whatsoever. None. It is a genuine hole in your vision. It is in both of your eyes, and it has been there every second of your life. So why isn't there a black dot floating around in the middle of your world? Because your brain doesn't leave the hole empty. It looks at whatever surrounds the gap, decides what ought to be in there, and paints it in. You have been looking at that invention your entire life and never once suspected it. So your brain deletes things you would have seen and invents things that were never there, and it still isn't finished. One more. Pick a word in the middle of this line and stare straight at it, and then without moving your eyes at all, try to read the line underneath it. You can't. The letters are right there in front of your wide open eyes, and they are mush. So here's how little of the world you are actually seeing properly. The genuinely sharp part of your vision covers a patch about twice the width of your thumbnail, held out at arm's length. That's it. That's the whole thing. That patch is under 1% of your retina, and it takes up more than half of your visual cortex, which tells you exactly how much of your brain is dedicated to that tiny circle and how little is spared for everything else. Because everything outside it is a low detail guess that gets vaguer the further out you go, until at the very edge you would struggle to identify a whole head at arm's length. Which means that when you look down a busy street, the stalls, the faces, the fruit, the awnings, all of it apparently sharp and solid and there. Almost none of that was ever delivered to you. Your eyes flick around, collecting a few tiny sharp circles a second, and your brain assembles the rest out of memory and expectation, then sells you the finished picture as live footage. The vivid, detailed world you're looking at right now is mostly a rumor. There's one more, and this one isn't about space. Find a clock with a second hand, a real one, or the one on your phone. Look away from it, then snap your eyes back. The first second lasts too long. You've almost certainly noticed that before and assumed the clock had stuck for a moment. It hadn't. What actually happened is that your brain, having just switched your vision off for the jump, had a gap to hide. So it took the very first thing you saw when you landed and backdated it, stretching that one moment backwards to paper over the missing time. Your brain quietly edited the timestamp, and you experienced the edit as a clock behaving strangely. Which brings us to the thing sitting underneath all of it. Light hits your eye, and it takes your brain about 1/10 of a second to turn that light into something you can actually see. So everything you have ever looked at, you looked at late. You have been living about 1/10 of a second behind the world for your entire life. 1/10 of a second is enough to get you killed, and your brain knows it. So it doesn't show you the world as it arrives. It predicts, running the picture forward to where it calculates things ought to be by now, and hands you that instead. A batter swinging at a fastball cannot possibly see the last few feet of the pitch. He swings at where his brain says the ball will be, and he is right often enough to make a career out of it. You have never experienced the present moment. Not once. Nobody has. So you are not watching the world, you are watching a reconstruction of it, stitched over the blackouts, painted across the holes, sharpened inside one tiny circle and guessed at everywhere else, then delivered to you a tenth of a second late with the timestamps quietly adjusted. That should be terrifying. It isn't, and here's why. It is a very, very good guess. Good enough to catch a ball, cross a road, and pick out a face across a crowded room. Good enough that you have trusted it completely every second of your life, and it has almost never let you down. So go back to the mirror and look at your left eye and then your right eye one more time. You still won't see it happen, but now you know who's hiding it and why.